welcome to this tutorial about game development where I'm gonna take you through the process that I follow when it comes to developing the look of your game. So we're gonna start with a very rough sketch. In this case, I know that what I want to do is a scene of a forest, a foggy forest, where I have a couple of enemies. That could be like cult members or something like that, and a soldier. And as you can see, I do everything in one layer. I don't bother segregating each one of the different assets in their corresponding layers, because at this point I'm working with a very low resolution. This is 360 by 180, and I'm doing everything in one layer. And the advantage of this is that you can get things done very fast. This can take you like 5-10 minutes to do, and you get a great overview of the look you are aiming for. So at this point, when I'm happy with this, I go into the next stage where I actually start to segregate the elements in layers. So we have our background, then the source light, then I start to expand that source light, and in here I start to blend the colors with the adjacent layers, the adjacent colors. So for instance, in here I could take this color here and do 50% into here and 50% into here, and so on with everything else. So by doing that, you start to blend the colors together, and then you can start to add like things like glow and adding more light into it, more ambient light, and in this case even green kind of radiation coming from the floor or something. So as you can see, we have now a background of a pixel art that is in a fairly good shape, and now we can continue to segregate the layers that we have. So in this case, 3 layers of trees and floor, and then we can add some effects like smoke and or some mist or something like that. But the point being that you see how fast you can have something done, and at this point we're still at 360 by 180. So if we have a look at the sprite size, you can see here the resolution. Now here I'm quite happy with what I have, and that's when I move to the next stage, which is actually going to work with the final resolution, which is 640 by 360. And we have this is basically the same file that I have scaled up by 2, and as you can see, we have the same thing, and we can start to refine a bit more some of those edges. I haven't done it in this particular example, but you can start, for instance, we can go in here and you can start refine all that, or even you can blend it. So it's fairly easy to have something very nice, especially with skies and things like that, where everything is sort of blending together. So moving on, we have our trees, and what I do is I have my scaled up layer from before, and of course it's very rough because every pixel has been doubled. So what I do is I use this as a guide. So we can do, for instance, I can take this and turn the opacity, and on that I do the reshape of the final trees and floor that I want. So you can see the difference of that we have before. So from this, which is very blocky, very big squared pixels, to this. And we do the same thing for everything else, and we can get to something like that. So for pixel art, this is, I say, pretty good. At least it's a good starting point, and we can also add an extra close-up tree that is blurred to give the feeling of depth. But this is pretty much the image of your game, and this is 640 by 360. Then in game it will be multiplied by 3, because usually you work at this resolution in art, and then the game engine is what scales up everything to HD by basically multiplying this resolution by 3. But this is it really. You can see that we got something very fast just by starting with a very low one layer sketch resolution, and then we can continue with our effects, and then we can refine our characters, and this is it really. We have, maybe this has taken an hour or two top, and we have something that we can start to actually get our head around when it comes to the look of our game. In this case, everything is still flat, but if you want to, this is fine because there are games that are completely flat. You can still add some highlights and things like that, or you can go with a more realistic look. This is very, I've done this very fast just as to illustrate my point. And you would do the same thing with the floors and the rest of the trees, and as you can see, we have already something working. So we started with a very rough sketch at a low resolution, then worked at this same resolution by segregating the layers, refined those layers, and from this point you can start maybe continue defining more details in your assets or in your environment, whatever you feel you need to put more work in, and you already have something where you can say, okay, this is my game, this is the look of it, I can start now to do individual assets. So I think it's a very good way of breaking through this first step of where to start, or how to get how to do something, how to have something done that you can rely on to continue developing. I hope this helped. This is more a beginner's tutorial. Of course, there are many techniques that you can do. This is something that worked for me, and I hope this is something that you might find useful. Okay, see you in the next tutorial. Thank you for watching.